the 5 biggest mistakes that we're seeing home builders make. I mean, these are costly. And I mean, like, 5 biggest mistakes that home builders are making right now. And listen, they're not only costly, Jessica, they're ghastly.
Painful. They're painful. They're ghastly.
Yeah, they're ghastly. They're painful. They're irritating. And if you're a home builder out there listening right now, whether it's a spec builder or maybe you're a large scale track builder or whatever you're doing, what was the quote? It was Jerry Maguire. What was it?
Help me help you.
Help me help you. She quoted Jerry Maguire on a social media post. Anyway,
Last night,
help me help you.
We need to share because we had another show planned for today.
Yeah,
and
mercy.
I showed some homes last night, and my grandmother would roll in her grave, but I left pissed.
Yeah, she was upset. Like you look, it's a thing. You know it's a thing when you're aggravated at the thing. By the way, guys, Jeremy Larkin here, host the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive with Jessica Taggart-Marone.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I love being here.
Yeah, love having her here. Did you like that? And Jesse's playing hooky. He's actually not. I talked to Jesse at 6:30 in the morning. He was already to Parowan. He was on his way to Panguitch actually to meet with a home inspector on a vacation property that one of his clients is purchasing. And so, but I think there's something. This is fun. You skied yesterday. We're going to talk about the St. George lifestyle before we talk about what people are doing. Builders being those people to cost themselves money and like they're prolonging the time on market. But before we do, how was Brian Head?
It was great. It was so fun. Was
it great?
It was delightful.
And having a really solid skincare routine, you didn't come home with raccoon eyes. But do you know there's a desert version? There's a new version. It's called it's helmet head. And I think I've been off just long enough that the dents aren't too big.
I definitely sported the raccoon eyes in high school when I was on the ski team, and did not care
you kind of wanted it. You wanted people to go.
It was a little bit of a badge of honor. But it was delightful, and it made me just fall in love every time that I go to be able to go ski and then come home and it was 80 degrees. And I just thought, I love where I live.
Like spring skiing in St. George, Utah. And it was like 85 yesterday.
It was great.
I rode this morning with my son before the sun was up on the Owens Loop, Matthew. And then we came back and it was like the road forked. And I said, dude, I got to go put on a radio show. And then he went further and, helmet head, goggle eyes. But look, we live
in heaven.
We live in heaven. And I was walking last night about 8:30 p.m. And I took off from my home. And a lot of our listeners know that I live up near the Dixie Rock, Red Hill. And I was just walking down. It was actually 500 North. It's a street. Most people are like, where's 500 North? I just did this long walk. I wanted to get my 10,000 steps in. And I didn't have them. I was 4,000 steps short.
Were you wearing your sexy weighted vest like I did?
I was not. Actually, I didn't. I just went out. And I left Max at home because I didn't want to deal with the dog. I love him. He gets plenty of hiking. He hiked yesterday morning. So I'm cruising and I stopped and took a selfie with the red hill behind me. And do you see it? And I was like measuring it with my hands. So it looks like I was holding the hill. I don't know if people understand just how spectacular it is to be. My 18-year-old son, we're cruising up the hill. The sun, like the light is starting to hit and we're getting all the color in the sky. He's like, wow, dude. Literally, wow, dude. That's a good view. Mm-hmm. I've trained him.
Yeah.
I've trained him. He knows.
No, it's a good time to be in St. George. It's beautiful weather. Today's an exciting day for Cougars all around.
Let's talk about it.
Sweet 16 game tonight against Alabama.
Alabama.
I am wearing blue in honor of the Cougs today.
I've got a little blue.
As you are. I don't know. Are you a Cougar
fan? I am, but my father is a major Cougar fan.
Well, let's be clear. I can't name 2 players on any of their teams. I need to be honest. I need to come
That's okay. You don't need
but
to.
I don't care. I am a Cougar. I bleed blue. I'm so excited.
I went last year. I went last year to one of the games, and I bought the Cougar tail, the 24-inch maple bar. I didn't know a single player. I screamed. I raged. I danced. I sang the fight song, Rise and Shout, the Cougars are out. And it was fine.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not a Cougar. I didn't graduate at SUU, Southern Utah University, and Dixie. Okay. So look, tonight, Sweet 16. And I've got some notes here. I really love this show today. And last night, I want to set the show up with, I'm hanging out around my house and I get a text message from Jessica. And the text message says, oh my gosh, like this is terrible in this brand new home.
And I have to have a caveat here because
we won't name the builder.
No, heavens, no. And, there are a lot of other problems going on in the world besides bad design.
Sure.
I want to be clear about that. Excuse me. However, this is someone's livelihood of how to build a home, design it, sell it, and make money. And I'm painfully aware of things that they are missing that are impeding them from their goals, right? So we have to be clear that this is not earth-shattering on the scale of
but it's earth-shattering. But listen, if you're a builder,
when you're a builder and you have invested money and time and blood and sweat into a project, a spec home, and then it's sitting, months, a year. This listing has been on the market for over a year. And here's the situation. And the price reduction that they have had and that they will have to have in order to sell this home.
Over a year. Do you realize the carrying costs of having a spec home on the market over a year? And the text you sent to me last night reads, and I quote, I think Mallory will even appreciate this from behind, guys, who's with Blueform Media, by the way. So our Blueform team puts this thing together. And it reads, have you ever, in all caps, these words are great, seen something as infuriating and inflammatory as this in a primary bedroom new build? By the way, the answer is no.
I never have either.
It's literally, it's this narrow room. This is the primary, what they formerly called a master bedroom. This narrow room with a little strip of wood down, literally it's not like, okay, imagine you have wood floors in your bedroom and you threw a rug in the middle. So there'd be like a wood around the edge.
Very beautiful.
No, it's like a strip. It's almost looks like a sidewalk of wood down one side of the room. Like it's 20% of the room and then 80% of the room is carpet. I have no clue what could have possibly motivated this move. And she went on and she said, if you think that's bad, she sent me Exhibit B. And Exhibit B was a video.
My days of trying to be an attorney.
Yeah, this is cool. She's like, I present Exhibit B. And as Jim Carrey said, and the truth shall set you free in the courtroom in Liar, Liar. And she goes through and she's showing me this beautiful kitchen in this beautiful living room. It's all modern. And we go through this completely contemporary home. And at the end of the contemporary home, she turns and it's one of those glass pantry doors that looks like it's from an old country home from 1985. Yeah.
It has a fruit basket on it.
It
says pantry in Comic Sans font.
Yeah. So
for all my font people,
it's bad. So let's jump into this thing. And I love this. Can I use the reference here? The Friends episode when Rachel makes the truffle and it has frozen peas in it.
Right. There's so many good things, right? I don't want to annihilate it. There's so many great things about the truffle in the episode of Friends.
But she had frozen peas in it.
But she put frozen peas in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The pantry door in that kitchen.
We didn't need celery in the Jell-O.
That's right.
Like it just didn't need to happen. Or carrots. Carrots didn't need to go in the Jell-O.
That's debatable.
I don't know.
Talk about our cougar land.
Let's talk about this. So structural. Excuse me. Number one, what is it? Because Jessica has framed this up.
Structural misses. Okay. So again, same house. They've got this beautiful casita, and I have to have a little moment of soapbox since I'm already on it. An exterior door from a bedroom does not a casita make.
Yeah.
People. Stop labeling it in the listing.
Yeah, we got a casita
as a casita because you have an exterior entrance.
Yeah. What would define as casita?
So we both have degrees in Spanish. So
sure.
Casita
means a little tiny house.
It, in my opinion, to be a true casita should be self-sustaining. You can lock that door to the home, to the rest of the home, and someone can come stay and have a bathroom. Maybe a little kitchenette. Doesn't have to have a little kitchenette.
I think by code, I'm going to tell you right now, by code, there has to be a kitchenette. Well, when I say code, by lending standards for it to be a casita, there has to be a functioning something to cook on.
So
a casita is a casita.
Well,
listen, it's a standalone. You could actually live in it.
That's how I feel.
A casita is not a bedroom with an exterior door.
Thank you. Okay. However, so this, again, this home had beautiful countertop and cabinetry in it to put a little fridge in. but there was no electrical outlet to even put a hot plate.
Painful.
A microwave. And then let me forget a sink, which it shared the wall against the bathroom. So it could have easily had a little wet sink, wet bar. And it they were like, well, could we rent this out? I'm like, yeah, you probably couldn't, because no one would want to wash their dishes in the kitchen, in the bathroom sink.
Here's the miss. The builder heard that ADUs are all the rage, which is an accessory dwelling unit. I have a Casita in my home, by the way. It's separated by a breezeway. It is a fully functional, it's a full kitchen.
Apartment.
I finished it when I moved into my house. I bought my old home. It was partially done. I spent $12,000 and I finished the Casita. Cabinets, a dishwasher. I mean, it is a functioning. So the builder heard that. And then the problem is that then they advertise it as an ADU or a Casita, which is actually not true. Then you take your buyer out. Now the buyer's aggravated, right? Okay. Example number 2 is a small primary bathroom closet. I'm just going to skim over it. Terrible move. Example number 3, what is that?
So garage size is huge here. And
size matters.
Size matters.
You know what I mean? In this case.
You know what we mean, size matters.
In this case, it really does. Like go to I use Dixie Springs as a pretty good example. Don't even start a lot of the stuff in Hurricane Valley. Don't even start without the RV garage for most of those people, right? Because they're thinking boat with a tall tower or RV.
Right.
Okay. So 2 offers on a home that inevitably fell out because what?
They could not park their truck in the garage.
Wah, wah, wah. Like, whoops, they pull in. And look, I understand that the F-250, for instance, is a very large truck.
Right.
But the F-150 is actually not that long.
Right.
And your standard Ram truck, your standard Toyota Tundra, these aren't terribly long. They have to fit in a garage.
They're just things that you can't fix later. And granted, not everyone drives a truck. I get it. But these things that you could just structurally change that aren't going to really change the cost dramatically when you're building are going to eliminate make the pool of buyers smaller. And cars aren't getting smaller. I mean, you look at homes that are older, everything's smaller because that's just how they were built. But
we're in a car culture.
Correct. It just, we need to slow down as builders to speed up.
I'm thinking about this, and we're talking today. If you just picked us up, guys, Jeremy Larkin, Jessica Taggart-Marone, Larkin Group, KW Realty. We're talking about the biggest mistakes that home builders are making, and really how to fix them so they can sell the home faster and for more money. And they could avoid this. And we're going to talk stay with us before we get off, just before 9. We're going to talk about avoiding these mistakes. This is so interesting. I'm just going to skim something you said here. Like she said, primary suite A, design misses. I'll just read this. Lack of cohesion, modern mixed with country, hodgepodge, sloppy, looks like an aftersight. People do not want to buy brand new homes to immediately change out the selections.
So it's one thing. Here's the thing. It's one thing if you're like, I love the whole house. I wouldn't choose this tile for the laundry room, but I can live with it. Great, cool. That's going to happen, right?
Sure.
I think builders got in the mindset that they could just do whatever they want and they're going to sell these homes. The market has shifted. There is so much inventory and more inventory coming on. They have to think critically. They have to be thoughtful about what they're doing. It cannot look like you just went in on Mad Dash supermarket sweep and grabbed all of the...
Yeah, but it was on sale at Home Depot.
Right. Or now is not the time. Like the beautiful parade homes, the homes that are incredibly custom, great. Be edgy, be daring with your design selections there. But you don't have the luxury of doing that in a spec home. And this is what's hard is like these price points that I was looking at, they were $900,000
Jessica, last night I'm on Zillow. Well, excuse me, I'm on Instagram. Guy that I follow up north, realtor, was doing this really cool, just kind of like a green screen video of this listing on Zillow. Oh my gosh, a stunning old school split style in Cottonwood Heights and Salt Lake that had been completely transformed to a contemporary kind of mid-modern. Mm-hmm. I wanted this house.
Of course.
I wanted this house.
I love your devotion to mid-modern.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to show you this home. Not today, but And somebody said, I can't believe that 2,100 feet is $850,000. We have a problem. Someone commented. Okay. If advertising, if we could do authentic advertising for the typical 850 home, and if you're a builder, I want you to hear this right now. If I could do truth in advertising, presenting a really average home that honestly you would have not been impressed with at all 5 years ago. And when you walk through it, you'll probably notice the generic LVP flooring and the lowest grade of quartz on the countertops. And they won't even have like a shaving ledge in the shower. And you'll be pretty dismayed and you won't believe it's $850, but you're going to love it. Don't miss it. This one's going to jump off the shelves. That's truth in advertising. A lot of the homes we're seeing that builders are putting out lack so much thought, right? And here's the weird part. I built several specs back in my past. The weirdest thing, Jessica, is the smallest little, honestly, I would call them just superficial, but the smallest little elements can change a home. You're like, hey, you could have spent like $300 right there, and that would have looked very different.
Well, and so here's an example I shared last night. You know, this home had a nice sized pantry, but I walk in and there's 4 shelves in it, and the ceiling is very tall, and so to me,
4 MDF shelves in a pantry, and what's the average person moves in there? They're like, where am I going to put my stuff?
You know, you could easily have fit 2 more shelves in there to just have storage and utilize that. And so again, that's a couple of $100s to the builder, but that's a small thing that would surprise and delight a buyer that is often downsizing to come here, losing a basement. There's just little things like that are thoughtful that are missed often. And then it just feels, I had to redo my pantry because of the same reason. I mean, the MDF, it was so poorly done the first home that it wasn't holding even the cans that I had on my pantry.
Yeah, they shot a couple nails in there.
So, you know, Rick ended up redoing the pantry, but it was a pain. And so just those little things that really could set someone apart, they're missing. And they could get away with that during COVID. They can't get away with it now. And taking an hour or two and meeting with us and looking at every little element and having us come from curiosity and tell me why you put this light switch here. Why don't you have outlets here? That will come back tenfold in the return of how your buyers 100%. Are looking at this home. I
want to share one of my biggest pet peeves as we start to wrap up and then talk about a solution for these builders.
Cool.
We saw this with a builder we worked with for several years. You would show up, you would open your glass door to your shower, and you had to step in and turn on the shower and get sprayed or pull the handle and jump out of the way instead of actually having the shower handle, the faucet, by the door. So this kind of stuff, here's why this happens, guys. There's a mad dash when the market is hot to build stuff.
Sure. And
builders run into staffing and subcontractor issues for sure. I mean, when it's busy, it's hard to find subs that have great experience, that are thoughtful.
Absolutely.
They're worried about margins. And then what happens? And this is where it gets really bad. A lot of spec builders are actually starting without any real estate representation because builders and realtors have this really funny,
it's so fascinating,
this catch-22 relationship.
Right.
They actually need each other, but the builders kind of hate realtors. And listen, I get it, builders. I cannot tell you how many times I've told the builder, I get it. I'm in this industry and I see the lack of professionalism. They're like, you guys went to school for a couple hundred hours and you think you can take X percentage. No, I don't think we can take anything. I think that we should earn the fee.
Absolutely.
Right. So in my slight diatribe here, builders are starting because they're thinking, well, maybe I'll sell it on my own during the build. Someone will come up, they'll see my sign, Bob Smith Builders, and they'll buy it. So they don't have a realtor, and they're trying to keep a realtor out of it. And they're so afraid that they might get sold into a listing that they don't consult with somebody.
We would love to work with lots of builders. What
can we do for somebody today? Please make them an offer. By the way, that has nothing to do with a fee. Yeah.
Call us.
5 minutes. Perfect.
A free hour.
Yeah.
To go over your plans, to go over your selections. This is, I always say everyone thinks they're funny and everyone thinks they have great taste.
Oh, gosh.
And
I was the biggest comedian Dixie High School class of 93. It didn't mean I was funny, though. It didn't mean I was funny, though. I got voted biggest. Okay, sorry. Okay, I think we're fun.
But so I just find it fascinating. Everyone thinks, oh, I just had my wife pick out the finishes. She's got great taste.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, she may, right? But why not just, wouldn't it be worth an hour, especially if I'm saying we'll meet with you for free, to have a third party that has no vested interest to say, hey, I'm actually hearing a lot of this feedback from buyers. They don't like this anymore. I'm looking at trends of what's coming up in design. This will look dated in 2 years. It will look very tired. Wouldn't it be worth it to take that time?
I got an idea for you.
There's no,
if you're a builder, I want you to reach out. You can just hit us up at the Larkin Group. Guys, you can find me. Like, we're so easy to find. Google the Larkin Group, go stgeorge.com. Reach out. Let us come spend an hour, honestly, or two, and just look at your project truly and authentically and ethically and even spiritually, Jessica. We're not asking you for anything. If you like us and we like you, we can talk about helping you get the property sold. Let us come get you out of your way. As we wrap this up, I recently sold a home for someone that had been on the market for quite a long time with another realtor. And it was a rental property, and the sellers, they own quite a number of rentals, and they're really good people, sharp people, business owners. Well, she said, yeah, I like to do a lot of design. And I'm going to be very transparent here. I got in this home. She said, I'll just stage it up myself. It was tough. Mm-hmm. And because it was almost right. It wasn't totally wrong.
The truffle.
It was the truffle. It was almost right, but it wasn't right. So day of photography, I ran in and I was pushing things here and I was pushing things there. Believe you me, most of us, like you say, right? People don't have great taste. They're not designers. They're not as funny as they think they are. It was painful. And I've seen this happen so many times, and we see this with builders. Builders, you're costing yourselves a lot of money. And here's what we'd like to do. Some of the guidance we can give you, it's not going to just save you money. It could return $10,000 to $30,000, $40,000 for you, legitimately, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, look, the last two properties I personally sold, which is kind of fun. I spent a whopping only $18,000 on the one, and ended up getting 8 offers, and it sold for $30,000 over ask. I must have done something right. Well, I've got 2 decades of help. The next one, I should have never been able to sell for absolute full price downtown St. George, and I got sold it in 24 hours for, full price. So we're doing something right. And let us, help me help you. Jessica, how can people reach us?
Please Google us at the Larkin Group. Yep. I'm on Instagram at Move Me to St. G, STG.
Yeah, Move Me to STG, or just, look up the Larkin Group.
Look us up. We'd love to help you.
Gosh.
We want to help buyers find a great home, and we know that we can help you. So thanks for listening.
Yeah. Don't be the person that remodels the thing and you went 97% of the way and you kept the old ceiling fans from 1987 in a complete $150,000, $250,000 remodel. Or if you're starting with a new build, help us help you get out of the way, guys. Jessica Taggart-Marone, Jeremy Larkin with the Larkin Group at Keller Williams Realty. We're always happy to visit, and you can check out all of our shows on YouTube. Check it out. Over and out.